everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing a most anticipated books video. So these are going to be my most anticipated books of 2020. Most of these are going to be sequels to series that I've already started. I don't have too many new series books or debut books on this list, mainly because I'm trying to get through some of my backlist books on my bookshelves. So most of these are going to be sequels to series I've started. There are two that are going to be like new series, but I'll talk about those at the end. So first up on the list is The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This is the third book in the Truly Devious series. I read the first two books earlier this year. So I do want to finish it off. I think the third one is going to be the final book, hopefully. And so I do want to see how it ends, how the mystery unfolds. This was a series that I was kind of like, about, only because I feel like with mystery books, we need to have some answers by the end of the book. Even if it's a series where, you might do some twists and turns and you answer some questions, but then you end up with more questions or whatever, but at least give us some answers by the end of the book. And it does that it does a better job of that with the second book. But with the first one I was pretty disappointed with how it left off, and I felt like we didn't get enough answers, and we just got a lot more questions but not much answers resolved by the first one, which I'm like, for a mystery book, like, when you go into a mystery book, even though it's a series, I'm expecting to get some sort of answer. And so I had some issues with how it kind of started off, but hopefully the end of the series makes up for all of that, and the third book will hopefully be awesome. We'll see. But that is one book on my list for 2020. The next book is Hollowpox, The Hunt for Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is also the third book in the series, and I read the first two earlier this year as well. This is a middle grade series, middle grade fantasy, and it's been described, or it's been compared to Harry Potter, and I definitely will say I can see why. Like, I can see, certain elements and aspects that do remind me of Harry Potter, so I can see why people have compared it to that and why people love it. It's a great series, really. Um, I'm really enjoying it so far. The villain is so good. I love a really good, well-written villain, and I really like the villain in this series. So can't wait for the third one. I think I do have a review of the first book, maybe the first two books. I'm not sure, but if I do, I'll leave the link down below if you guys want to check out that review. The next book on this list is One of Us Is Next by Karen McManus. This is like the sequel to One of Us Is Lying. And I read One of Us Is Lying back in the fall, and I loved it. It had a twist in there that I did not see coming at all. I absolutely loved it, and it made me want to pick up more of her books to read. So this is, I guess, the sequel to One of Us Is Lying, And I can't wait to see what's going to happen in this one and what the big twist is. The next book on the list is King of Crows by Libba Bray. This is the fourth book in the Diviners series. This is probably my most anticipated read of 2020 because I love the Diviners so much. I love that series. I'll probably end up rereading the first three before I get to King of Crows. Maybe. I don't know. I might just dive into King of Crows because I'm super excited for it. And yes, I'm so ready. The next book is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Khmer. This is the second book in, I think the series is called Curse Breakers. At least that's what it said on Goodreads, I believe. This is the sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which I read earlier in 2019. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And this was one of my surprising books of 2019. This was one that I didn't realize I would love it as much as I did. And I absolutely fell in love with that book. And so the sequel is coming out, and I just cannot wait. The next book on the list is Hunting November by Adriana Mather. This is the second book. This is a sequel to Killing November, which I read earlier in the fall. And this one is like, it's also a mystery book. It was really good. Actually, Adriana Mather, she's probably gonna be an auto-buy author for me now, because I read Killing November, which I loved, and I read her other series, her other duology, How to Hang a Witch, and I really enjoyed that one as well. I really like her writing style, and she's probably going to end up becoming an auto-buy author for me, because all her books that I've read so far, I'm like, I really love all of them. So I can't wait for the sequel. I'll probably reread Killing November before the sequel comes out. But yeah, I can't wait. The next book on the list is Twisted Fate by Daniel Rollins. This is the second book in the Dark Stars series. The first one was Stolen Time. So that one I read early at the beginning of this year. And that was another book that completely took me by surprise. And I ended up loving it so much more than I thought I would. It ended up becoming a favorite of 2019. So I definitely cannot wait to pick up the sequel. Stolen Time, that one I do have a review for. So I will link that below. But if you like time travel and sort of sci-fi stories, YA sci-fi and time travel, then you might want to check this one out. I loved it. I can't wait for the sequel. The next book is Sensational by Jodi Lynn Zadorek. And this is the sequel to Spectacle. And Spectacle I also have a review for. I will link them below. I enjoyed Spectacle, but at the end of it, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a series or not, because it wraps up well enough that it could be a standalone. But I did have like one or two questions at the end of the book that I was like, are they gonna make this a series? Because I really want to know the answer to these questions. So I'm glad that I found out it's going to be a series. So hopefully my questions get answered in the second book. Like I said, the first one does wrap up well enough that it could be a standalone. but I really want to know the answer to my question. So glad I'll have the second book to find out. The next book is Bridge of Souls by Victoria Schwab. This is the third book in the Cassidy Blake series. This is a middle grade paranormal ghost story. I read the first two books in this series earlier this fall, I think like in October, and I really enjoyed them. It was a lot of fun. The one thing I love about middle grade series, which I need to pick up more middle grade series, is they're always fast paced. They don't really waste any time getting to the plot and, having things move along. And which is great and obviously needed because kids have shorter attention spans. But I always love a fast paced story. So that's one thing I really love about middle grade. And these books are fast paced, they're super fun. I really enjoyed them, so I cannot wait to get to the next book in the series. And the last sequel on this list is The Damned by Renee Audier. This is the sequel to The Beautiful. Currently reading The Beautiful right now, although by the time this video goes up, I might be done with it by then. As of now, as of filming this video, I'm halfway through The Beautiful, and I'm really enjoying it, so I definitely want to pick up the sequel when it comes out. The last two books on this list are new series, so these are the first book in a new series coming out. The first one being Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Last Hours series. And this one takes place, I want to say, after the events of Infernal Devices, but before all the Mortal Instrument stuff. I cannot wait. I love the Shadowhunter world. I love Cassandra Clare's books. So anytime you give me another book in the Shadowhunter world, I am all there for it. Especially if we get to see Will and Tessa again. And I don't know if Jem will be there. Maybe, hopefully. But, I love Will and Tessa. So if I get another book or series where I get to see them again, I'm all for it. And the last book on this list is The Queen's Assassin by Melissa de la Cruz. This is the first book in The Queen's Secret, and I honestly don't remember much about this one, other than one, the cover is gorgeous, and two, it's YA fantasy, and I love YA fantasy, and it's got an assassin in it, so definitely want to pick it up. I have read a couple other books by Melissa de la Cruz. She had a Frozen series. The first book was called Frozen, and I read that series and I enjoyed it. And she had another book that I can't remember the name of now. But I remember I did enjoy that one as well. So, plus she also wrote Witches of East End, which I have the book. I haven't read it yet, but I did watch the show when it came out on Lifetime. So bummed they only did one season because I was really into the show. But yeah, I'm excited to see what she's got with this book. So that's it for this video. Those are my most anticipated books of 2020, mostly sequels. Let me know in the comments below what are some of your most anticipated reads of 2020. What are you looking forward to most? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye!